Hello there, how are you? This is Lois Gidiga, and I am coming live to you from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I am an RCIC and I'm doing this video just for your information. This is not legal advice. If you need legal advice on your particular case, kindly call me or send me an email and book a consultation with me. So this shall not be deemed as legal advice. Uh, I hope you're doing well from wherever you are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And I want to be real quick because I want to address something here. I just want to give tips. I like to give you tips about immigrating to Canada because I believe that informed people make better decisions. And most of us, the reason why we are not getting success with our visa or even permanent resident or citizenship applications is because we don't have the right information. So that is my duty to try and educate where I can. And if you have anything personal, please, as I said, if you have anything personal, send me an email at Lois at awebyyc.com, and I'll book your consultation to address your particular issue. So, visitor visa refusals. I have a lot of inboxes from people who come to me and tell me that their visa was denied. And just to put this clear out there is that temporary resident visas, that is visitor visas and student visas, those are some of the visas that have a very high rate of refusal. And especially coming from countries that have a high rate of refugee applications. So if your country has a lot of people who come here and they seek asylum, the rates of denial is very high, and that is very true for our African countries, unfortunately. Uh, so, when you get a refusal, why did you get a refusal? There are many reasons as to why a visa officer is going to refuse your visa, and you all know because most of the people who send to me, they have been refused, but then you're gonna be refused for one reason or another. So maybe your paperwork was not good. You didn't give the right supporting information. You didn't give adequate supporting information. Maybe you failed the criminal checks. You failed on medical checks where that was necessary. And your ties, they could be ties in Canada or ties in Kenya. And that is a catch 22. When they tell you that they denied you because of ties in Canada and ties in Kenya, it's really hard because come on, you have family in Canada and you have family in Kenya or wherever you're applying from. So, but I have seen that quite a lot. And finally, if you did not satisfy the visa officer, that you will go home. And satisfying the visa officer is highly at their discretion because it's if they doubt your intent, if they doubt the intent of your visit here, they doubt that something strikes them that most likely you will not go home. So that is at their discretion to refuse that visa application. Um, so the people who come to me, they're asking me, so should I apply again? And my answer is yes and no. And the reason I say this, do not apply immediately if nothing has changed. So if your situation hasn't changed, there's no need of applying. If you don't have any new information to give, do not apply. If no conditions have changed, if everything is the same as when you applied, it doesn't matter if you're going to apply 10 times, you're still going to get a refusal. and that is a loss for you and a loss for immigration, because you're losing money, you're wasting your time, you're also taking up a lot of their time that they could be using to process other applications. So that is when I say no. Yes, then I say yes, apply if your conditions have changed and if you have addressed the reasons of refusal. So when you get that refusal letter, it tells you we denied you because you did not satisfy IAPR, whatever, So you need to address those questions before those issues before you can file a new application. And usually that goes beyond there. So before you do a second application, please talk to me. Let us look at your immigration file. Let us get your file from immigration. Let us analyze as to other deeper reasons as to why you were denied. Okay? And I'll say this, it's always good to do the right application at the beginning instead of coming to me to fix your application after you've been denied first, second, third time. I would rather you come to me, we do a new application, like initial application. When you're doing your initial application, I would rather you come because I'm going to make sure that we are addressing each and everything. We are flagging down all the red flags. We are doing a good submission, and we're gonna make sure that you do that right at the first try. That still doesn't mean that you're guaranteed to get a visa. No one shall guarantee you a visa ever. And I keep telling you, and I'll keep repeating this, no one can guarantee you, because we have talked about that discretionary aspect of a visa. So there's no way I can guarantee you that, it's gonna be there, but um, I'm going to make sure that we give you the best shot, right? So I said seek help before you apply to make sure that you're giving yourself the best shot. The moment you're denied, your file has been tainted, and you have now to address those issues before you can be granted. And even if you address those issues, now that is the catch, even if you address those issues in your second or third application, when you send that application again, most likely it goes to a different officer who may identify a different reason for refusal, right? So do things right the first time. I'll talk about strategy because I've been talking about strategy. Anything you do with immigration, whether it's temporary, whether it's permanent, be very strategic. Plan properly. Plan your time. Plan, know what you're doing. You just don't get into these things already. You're wasting money, you're wasting time, and it's mind boggling. Anything, they look simple, but they're not simple, right? If they were simple, all the people who apply to come to Canada, they'll be here. And these denials are everywhere from all over the world, right? So they are not that simple, right? So make sure you're not messing up your file to begin with. Then there's this other category of people who tell me that they applied, they were denied, and they were banned. Why were you banned? I'm going to tell you the reason you were banned. And please, our people, let us avoid these things. And I'll talk about strategy. Let me first talk about this thing. I want to talk about strategy more, but let me talk about why you're denied and banned. The reason you were banned is because you had a misrepresentation. What does that mean? Most likely you gave fake documents in your application. You gave fake bank statements, you gave fake identity, whatever it is, it was a misrepresentation of material fact. So that is why you're going to be banned, and that is going to affect a lot of all your chances of coming to Canada, because then you're deemed inadmissible. So be very careful when you go out there. These days they have that form that you have to sign, that you give them authority to counter check, to check to check your records. So you're giving them authority to call the banks, you're giving them authority to check on the authenticity of the supporting documents that you have. So they are going to catch these things. Avoid getting fake bank statements, avoid getting those fake things that these people in Nairobi are getting for you, you know. And now that comes to planning, because if you plan well, you do not need to get these people who are getting you fake documents, and then now you come to me and you're telling me, oh, you know what, I was banned because of this, because someone got me and I paid this person 200,000, I paid this. Come on, please stop that. Stop paying people 300, 400,000 to give you fake documents, and then they get you, you are banned, and you cannot even get your money back, because no one is going to give you your money back. So it's all about strategy. Plan well, plan your time, plan your travel. You know well that you want to come to Canada at a particular time, whether it's this year or next year, unless it's a death, you know. And those are special cases. Most of the time, you know you want to come to Canada at a particular time. So start planning in advance. Look at when do you want to be in Canada? Work backwards, right? You need to submit your application at least, you know, it's okay, 3 months. You can submit your application in a span of 3 months. So if you want to submit your application 3 months prior or 2 months, right? Because you want to give them time to process, time to do your biometrics if they haven't done your biometrics. So give yourself that time and give the visa office enough time to process your application, and enough time for you after you get the visa to book flights and to prepare your travel. So we're already going back 3 months. What these people also want at the time of your application, they want things like your bank statements. They say for 3 months. Come on, I do provide bank statements for 6 months, and I have my own reasons for doing that. I provide bank statements for 6 months. So if you want to provide bank statements for 6 months, so you need to have planned for 9 months. Excuse me, do you get where I'm coming from? You need to have planned for your trip for 9 months, so that you have the right finances in place, you have the right documentation in place, you make sure your passport is ready, it's valid, you know, you have your marriage taken care of in case you're gonna do the declaration. Learn to plan things. Talk to me, let us come up with a plan. Because the other thing, and that is why people get denied a lot, they'll be like, oh, you know, I had finances. Come on, you didn't have finances. And the reason you didn't have finances is you only put money a month before your application. That is considered funds parking. You just got funds from somewhere, you put them there to deceive the visa officer. These people are smart, so don't do these things. Plan to have your money way in advance in your account. That way, when you have your money way in advance, you look credible. If I see in your account you just put a million Kenya shillings in your account 2 months ago, and before that it had 10,000 shillings, like, come on, where did that money come from? Right? So it shows that you only got that money for the purpose of this. Maybe you borrowed that money and then you don't look credible, right? So it's about planning, it's about being strategic. Everything, these things are life-changing decisions you're making. So please have a plan. Don't make it an emergency, because once it's an emergency, you're going to be rushing and you're going to be doing things that you don't want to be doing, right? And then getting the results you don't want to be getting. All right? Yeah. So anyway, as I said, this is just an information session. I like to educate you, I like to give you tips here and there. Follow me. My organization is called Milele Immigration Services. Please follow me. I'm on Facebook, I'm also on Instagram. Finally, I'm on Instagram, and I'm also on YouTube. So please follow me, subscribe, share with your friends, share these things, and maybe you're gonna help someone. Okay, thank you, and I hope to see you soon. Bye now.